You've probably seen this video for TofuKitty Club on Facebook once or twice. Pay attention to the water in the cup. Not that on the right, the one on the left. Oh my gosh, don't pour too much! This litter clumps very quickly, very rapidly. However, it doesn't absorb a great deal per volume. That clump is huge for what was poured in. However, it does dissolve amazingly, so if you have indoor cats only that are not exposed to outdoor cats or are fed raw meat, toxoplasmosis is the deal here, you can flush it down the potty, otherwise you may not. I'm going to attempt to summarize my experience and my review, the pros and the cons of this litter. You will see the litter box has this coating of white dust around the bottom, and that was because I needed to try to prevent the sticking problem, as you see with this tower of tofu. And so I lined it with cooking spray and baking soda. And you'll be able to see that in the full length, 20 plus minute long version of this experience with this litter. In this shot, you can see just how large this urination clump is. It does not absorb very much fluids per volume. It does absorb quickly, and it does clump very hard. So everything about the clumps is great except the urination absorption by volume. And also the fact that it sticks really bad, but that gets better. We'll talk about that more later. January 10th, I'm home sick today in bed, so please excuse the voice, but I'm making the most of it by catching up on some long overdue, needed to be edited videos. This ice cream sprinkle shaped like litter doesn't sift very good, but you can modify a shovel to make it sift better, or just don't scoop so much. This is my litter box invention in its complete form with the sifter inside. Despite the large holes, it doesn't sift very good either, because when you have a large stack of this type of litter, they just intertwine with each other because of their little short stick sprinkles shape. So I'm not going to be using the scoop. Looks like ice cream sprinkles, and it's made out of tofu, well, soy. That's why it's called TofuKitty Club. This fast forward section is just me explaining how to use a hand scoop to its fullest benefit, also using a tilting method that inspired the invention of my litter box shown on the right there. As shown in the TofuKitty Club commercial at the beginning of this video, this litter readily dissolves in water and is a fantastic choice for those who want to flush the waste down the potty. For those with cats that are indoor only and exposed to no cats that are outdoors. Again, for indoor cats only because of the toxoplasmosis issue. This litter does not absorb very well per volume. It runs straight down like a Plinko game and sticks on the bottom, creating towers of tofu. It required me to scrape it off. It was really annoying, but I'll tell you this, after a while there's dust buildup. Not airborne dust, heavy dust that actually helps with the releasing of this litter. So TofuKitty Club Clumps really good. It's one of the best plant-based biological litters for clumping power I have seen yet, but it just doesn't absorb a whole lot and is extremely expensive. And so here's a closer look at the stuck-on bits that were left over after tapping it. It works great in odor control, and the dust is heavyweight. It doesn't get into the air easily. This litter is green, and it will cost you some green. Because of this litter's size and shape, it is very low tracking. Nothing is lower tracking than Scoon so far that I've tested. Scoon has very large chunks, but this litter is low tracking, low in airborne dust. It is a fantastic litter in almost every way, except for expense, the sticking of the clumps, which gets better as the dust, heavyweight dust of the soy product builds at the bottom of the box, creating a dust release layer. So after a long period of time, it will work better. You may need to get a shovel with larger slots so it sifts better, or just make sure you don't scoop a large amount, because the more you scoop, the more it intertwines and becomes difficult to sift. Recommendations to the manufacturer. If you were to change the texture of the TofuKitty Club so that it was more round and uniform in shape, it should sift better in large sifting gravity sifting boxes such as my invention shown here. The litter in this box was Dr. Elsie's clumping clay litter in the blue bag. Also, if making it that texture where it's more uniform, it should compact together. You should have more of it in the same volume of space, thus increasing the absorbancy per volume. On top of this, if you can figure out a way to make it more affordable, that would be super fantastic. Maybe even adding some corn or another ingredient mixed in with it to lower the cost, possibly. As shown here in my green litter box, this is a mixture of Litter Made Corn Cob Premium Litter and World's Best Corn Litter. I mixed them together to use them up. I hopefully will have a review video on those corn-based litters too. If you haven't seen my other video of initial impressions of TofuKitty Club, you gotta watch it. Get your kids. It's a lot of fun because I involved my kids for the testing.